discuss the differences and similarities between softball and baseball. Baseball is mainly played by guys, whereas, on the other hand, fast-pitch softball is mainly played by girls. A comparison of softball and baseball can be made that softball is directly descended from baseball and contains many similarities. However, there are several main differences, which are types of bats, sizes of fields, and types of pitches. The objective of both games are basically the same. Balls, strikes, and outs are consistent, and you have to score runs to win. Softball has smaller movements and different equipment than baseball, while sharing many of the same rules and gestures, but it is a different sport altogether. The game is altered by its smaller field, larger ball, and unique pitching styles. Some similarities of baseball and softball are the number of defensive players allowed in the field at one time, which is 9. Bunt hitting is allowed in both sports. Base stealing is also allowed in both sports. In baseball, the runner can steal any time the ball is live. In softball, the base runner can only steal once the ball leaves the pitcher's hand and when the ball is live. If the pitcher is in the pitching circle, the runner may not move unless the pitcher makes a motion that may be interpreted as making a move, or what defines a move is left up to the individual umpire. Once a move is made, the runner may try to advance, and the ball is now considered live. In baseball, runners are allowed to lead off of any base. This means that the runner does not have to be touching the base while the pitcher has the ball. After each pitch, however, the base runner must return to the base to tag up. In softball, the runner must be touching the base until the ball leaves the pitcher's hand. If she leaves the base early, she's out. If the batter is hit by a pitch, he is awarded first base unless he swung at the ball or he made no attempt to avoid getting hit by the ball. These are several similarities of baseball and softball. Next, we will look at the differences between the two sports. The main differences between softball and baseball are the length of the game, the size of the ball, the bats used, the dimensions of the baselines, pitching distance, pitcher's area, and the pitching delivery. Now that you know the differences, let's break them down and see how they are different. A baseball game lasts 9 innings, whereas a softball game only lasts 7. In softball, the ball is 12 to 11 inches in circumference and is less dense than a baseball. The normal color of a softball is yellow. The ball in baseball is much smaller. It is about 9 inches in circumference, and the color of the ball is white. In baseball, the bats cannot be any longer than 42 inches and must be wood at the professional level. Aluminum may be used at college and high school levels. In softball, the bat may not be longer than 34 inches and most commonly made of aluminum, although wooden bats may be used. The strike zone is a 3-dimensional space which covers the irregular area of home plate and spans the height of the batter's knees to the armpits when he or she is in the normal hitting stance. A pitch that touches the outer boundary of the zone is as much as a strike as a pitch that is thrown right down the center. A pitch at which the batter does not swing and which does not pass the strike zone is called a ball. Another difference is the baselines. The baselines in baseball are further apart. In softball, the bases are 60 feet apart, and in baseball, it is 90 feet from base to base. Also, the pitching delivery is very different as well. In baseball, it is 60 feet and 6 inches from home plate and is a raised sloping mound with a radius of 9 feet and maximum height of 10 inches. In softball, the pitching circle is 40 feet from home plate in women's high school and amateur, and in college, it is 33 feet from the plate to the pitching circle. The pitching circle is flat with a radius of 8 feet and marked with a white chalk around the circle. Because of the proximity of the pitcher to the plate, the size of the ball, and a couple other factors, softball strategy involves much more small ball, meaning bunting and slapping to advance runners to score. Pitching delivery is the main difference between the two sports. Baseball pitching is overhand, whereas softball pitching is underhand, or also known as windmill. With the windmill technique, the pitcher must start with both feet on the rubber and avoid jumping and or leaping as she pitches. The pitch starts and ends at the hip. An illegal pitch in softball is where the player leaps and both feet come off the ground from the mound and is known as a crow hop. An illegal pitch in baseball is called a balk, and the ball is dead and no change is made to the count on the batter and all runners on base advance. With no runners on base, the pitch is automatically called a ball. Softball and baseball Softball and baseball pitchers can utilize the same pitches for the most part. The knuckleball can be slightly more challenging to achieve for a softball pitcher due to the relative size of the ball, but it can be done. A softball pitcher has the option to throw a raised ball based on the motion of the pitch. This pitch is not possible in baseball. The last difference is the dimensions of the field. Softball is played on a smaller diamond than in baseball. In softball, the fence around the outfield is shorter, since it is harder to get a larger, heavier softball out of the field than in baseball. So, in conclusion, both of these sports, baseball and softball, are hard and take practice and skill to play. Even though softball is as physically challenging as baseball and requires an equal amount of energy and skill, softball is thought of as a women's game only. Neither sport is easy than any other because even though the baseball is smaller and the field is bigger, softball is equally as hard because the field is smaller and the pitcher is so close that you do not have time to react when the ball is being pitched.